What's up? BigHerc916. Positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know how we do it over here. This story's been all over the internet, all over social media. The story about the stabbing of Austin Metcalf by Karmelo Anthony. And there's been a lot of racial undertones to the story. Things being said about the backgrounds of the kids and where they came from and how it all started. I mean, the bottom line is, until we hear the facts as far as the witnesses that were there are a lot of assumptions, and a lot of the assumptions are jumping on the racial card in this story. But I'm just going to share a little bit about the story, then kind of give my opinion. The suspect reportedly told the officer who arrested him that the 17-year-old victim put his hands on him and that he admitted that he did it. This is in Frisco, Texas. The suspect accused of fatally stabbing 17-year-old Frisco high school student at a track meet Wednesday morning reportedly confessed to the incident, claiming he was protecting himself, according to the arrest affidavit. One witness reportedly told police that the victim, Austin Metcalf, had told the suspect, Karmelo Anthony, he would need to move out from under his team's tent, the affidavit stated. Anthony is a student at Sentinel High School, but was reportedly sitting under Memorial High School's tent. Upon telling him this, the witness told police that Anthony opened his bag and reached inside. Touch me and see what happens, Anthony told Metcalf, according to a witness. Metcalf reportedly then touched Anthony, the witness told responding officers, and Anthony told Metcalf to punch him and see what would happen. Soon afterward, the witness said Metcalf reportedly grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, at which point the affidavit continues. Anthony reportedly pulled out what the witness recalled as a black knife and stabbed Metcalf once in the chest before running away. Metcalf reportedly started grabbing his chest and telling people to get help, the witness told police. The affidavit shows that another witness interviewed by police told the same story about the altercation occurring inside Memorial High School's tent. In the affidavit, the arresting officer says that when he found 17-year-old Anthony, he reportedly told the officer, "I was protecting myself," before the officer had even questioned him about the incident. As the officer was walking Anthony off the track, the suspect reportedly further said that the Metcalf had put his hands on him. Anthony was in handcuffs. The affidavit reads, after another officer arrived, the arresting officer advised that he had an alleged suspect, to which Anthony reportedly said, "I'm not alleged, I did it." The officer also noted fresh blood on Anthony's left middle finger while he was in the back seat of the vehicle, the report details. The document states that Anthony also reportedly asked the officer if Metcalf was going to be okay while he was in the back seat of the vehicle. While being escorted to the squad car, Anthony asked an officer if the actions could be considered self-defense. And a now viral Facebook post, a relative of Anthony's backed up his claim of self-defense. The thing about this whole story, and whenever it's black and white, we have a tendency to get all emotionally invested and want to vilify one person more than the next, and maybe not look at some of the facts. But the reality of certain situations is that when things happen, sometimes young people do ignorant shit. And I've seen this in my high school days where guys from another high school have went into the bleachers of the opposing high school purposely looking to start some shit. And whether or not, somebody wants to say that the Metcalf kid was a bully or not, you bring a knife, you're ready for what you expect to happen. You're expecting some shit to jump off. It's like bringing a gun to school. You don't bring it by accident. And getting jumped, okay, somebody says, well, he's protecting that self-defense. I've gotten jumped multiple times. I didn't bring a knife because I wasn't looking if I was to get jumped to kill anybody. But the bottom line is when you carry weapons and you're putting yourself in situations that could possibly be hostile, in the back of your mind, you have the idea that some shit could happen. Some shit could kick off. And I don't know the Anthony kid, and I don't know the or the Metcalf kid. But like I said, as a young man, being in situations like this multiple times, I've been to parties, seen dudes throwing up gang signs, and then somebody else throws up a gang sign, and then a dude like, pulls out a 22, and it's like you didn't bring the 22 up there as a costume decoration. You brought it up there because if you seen something, you were going to shoot somebody. And as far as self-defense, you don't put yourself in situations where it could be a situation that something happened. I mean, if you're just walking down the street, you got your gun, you got your knife, you mind your own business, somebody approaches you, they jump on you or try to hurt you, and okay, that's a self-defense. But if I put myself in a situation in another hood or at an event where I know there's conflicting neighborhoods or teams or shit, I know what could happen, and I'm prepared at that point in my mind, even though it's not a rational decision, to hurt somebody. And if it happens, it happens. I've been jumped downtown Sacramento. I've been jumped at summer school. I've been jumped at Scandy. I've been jumped multiple times. But my thing was growing up, we would just fight. We would just squabble. And, at the end of the day, you got a reputation for throwing hands. And even the opposite group of people, for the most part would be like, okay, you caught that fade, I'll catch you next time. And that would be that. But the thing is now, these kids, these young men, they can't take a loss, man. They can't take getting hit in the nose. They can't take getting punched. I see even somebody grown me, oh man, you put your hands. I'm like, dude, well, why don't you keep your mouth shut? Don't put yourself in situations, walk away. But if you want to be one of them dudes that want to, look for conflict, you want to be in the mix, learn how to fight. Otherwise, you sacrifice yourself for killing somebody. You're a dumbass. You literally, you know, you're a dumbass. And I was one of those kids who, luckily, I never did that. I got at a point where I feel like, man, maybe I need to get a strap. And I'm glad I never did, because what would have happened? I got jumped. I feared for my life, and then I took somebody else's life because of an irrational decision. Then I would have been sitting in prison for 20 years, looking hella stupid, growing up in prison, being around a bunch of other undeveloped men inside an environment that's hostile because I couldn't deal with a situation where I couldn't cope with because I want to kill somebody. See, the thing is, everybody thinks, oh man, shooting, getting away with it, run around. I mean, man, literally, man, growing up in Sac, man, there was track meets. Dudes were fighting, running across a track meet, going to high school football games. There were people shooting up bus. It was all kind of crazy drama, man. And I'm like, wow, I'm glad we made it through that. But like, I try to share these videos so that these other young men don't run into the same traps. You don't go to a school and put yourself under another opposing team's tent. It don't matter. All these guys are bullies. Look, man, I've been around some dudes, man, in juvenile hall. You talking about bullies? These dudes is 16, 17, benching 3 wheels with 19-inch arms. You talking about bullies? Ain't no guns in there. So, when I got out of juvenile hall, I was like, well, okay, I need to carry myself a little bit different. And you got to know situations. I don't know if these parents, and I don't know if this guy, Karmelo, had a dad at home, but they're not teaching them situational awareness. Look, don't put yourself in situations like this. And a lot of times it's the communication. Parents not communicating. You might hear things about your kid, maybe not, but at the end of the day, you don't want your kid to go out sacrificing his life because he was in a situation and it could have been avoided. Or even if you caught a little ass whooping because you were on the wrong side of the field, so be it. It's not a racial thing. It's just it's a logic thing. It's an accountability thing. So people are like, oh, he was a straight. Okay, let's go on and read some more here. WFAA spoke with Kerry Ortiz, the owner of Halo Pizzeria in Frisco. Austin worked part-time there alongside his mother, Megan, and his identical twin brother, Hunter. To help ease the financial burden of funeral and legal expenses, Ortiz has launched a GoFundMe for the Metcalf family and is planning a fundraiser at Halo Pizzeria soon. Um, it says, I'm trying to find. Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, has also started a GoFundMe. Together, they have raised nearly $250,000. Jeff Metcalf met with WFAA for the first time on Thursday to discuss his son and what happened to him. He said he was incredibly grateful for the tributes, community support, and love after Wednesday's incident. Money will never bring back my son, but I need to take care of what's left, and his twin brother, Jeff Metcalf, said. Metcalf also requests that social media warriors and those using his son's death to create political discourse, let alone racial discourse, is disheartening. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on their soapbox trying to politicize this. Unless you were there, unless you saw it, don't spread gossip, Metcalf said. So, you know, don't spread the gossip, man. Don't try to spew hate. And whether you want to say, oh, the Metcalf, him and his brother, they were or the black kid, he was a thug gangster, whatever. The bottom line is, young men do young men shit. Young kids, I knew white guys at my school that were bullies, benching, 400 pounds. Everybody when I grew up at was strong. This high school I went to, your name was on a plaque. You try to get, you wanted to go into the gym afterwards. Everybody, dudes walked around with their shirt off. Dudes would, openly beat you up in the locker room. Seniors would beat up freshmen, juniors, sophomores. Sophomores would beat up freshmen. Juniors would beat up sophomores and freshmen. It was just part of the thing. And there was a lot of that going on, but nobody was trying to stab nobody. At the end of the day, if there was something going on and it was our school versus another school, we all stuck together. It didn't matter if you were white, black, Mexican, if you were blood or Crip, whatever, you all stuck together. But there's been multiple situations and, shit has happened. And at the end of the day, you know, God bless that nobody ever died while we were out there just fighting and doing stupid shit. But I know as a kid, you do things and you do them because you're trying to make a statement. It's like going to a club, I remember 18 and over, wearing all one color, knowing that there's going to be other people there rather than wearing something neutral because you're waiting for somebody to say something to you. You're looking for somebody to actually challenge you on your outfit so that you can let them know that, what time it is. And that shit happen all the time. All the time, man. And then you grow up and you see those dudes in your 30s and 40s, and you're like, man, I remember you from back in the day. Oh, man, what's up? They got families now. They done, you know, moved and got, homes and they're working jobs. Man, look, there was a guy I got into it with at a movie premiere. He socked me in the face. I ran after him. He pulled out a strap, blasted at me, and from got in a high speed chase with the cops. Went and did it over a decade, and I haven't seen the dude since. But as grown men now, I mean, it's like, okay, that was stupid, and luckily nobody died that night. But this was all over a movie and emotions. Look how fragile these young men. I mean, over a movie and emotions, and then here you got a track meet. These guys at a track meet turned tragic because somebody brought a knife. Parents, you got to do a better job, man. My kid, you got to do a better job. You got to set your sons down. A lot of these young men, they're lost. They're trying to find their identity. They're trying to prove that they're a man. They don't want to feel weak. They don't know how to take a loss. Man, sometimes you're going to take a loss, man. Sometimes that's just life. You either take a loss or you're going to try to take somebody's life and do life. Sometimes you got to take a loss. I've been knuckled up multiple times, man. I got knuckled up multiple times. And, my mom would ask me what happened. I just play it off. I don't want to tell on it because, I mean, shoot, I was out there. I wasn't necessarily innocent because I'm acting hard too. I'm being a gangster too. So, that's a consequence of playing the game. You want to be hard? Well, there's other hard people out there. You want to be a tough guy? There's other tough guys out there. You can't be a tough guy to be one way. There's no, tough guy goes both ways. If you want to be a tough guy, there's another tough guy. And if he sees you, it's tough on tough. It's not just you. And so, you want a mad dog, look hard, you want to talk shit. Man, just know that there's somebody else who's looking for that dude, looking for you. And they're going to catch you with the fade, or if you guys take it to the next level, it might be gunplay, because a lot of these guys can't fight, and they don't want to be seen on social media as getting beat up, so they just throw their life away. Throw their life away, man. Some of you guys are so sorry, man. You and then you go to prison and you're in there for decades for something stupid, for one bad day when you got beat upside your head, and now unless like you said, you mind your own business. Somebody jumps you, you're trying to defend yourself. You pull out, okay, self-defense. But if you put yourself in stupid situations, man, you got to know, man, the gang stuff, that's a death game. The gang banging stuff is a death game. Bottom line, it's a death game. You get around those type of dudes, everybody's looking to get a name for themselves. It's the game of death. There's nothing positive from it. There's nothing positive from gangs, bro. It's a game of death. And then the bully game, I mean, eventually you might find you somebody else who likes to handle bullies, and you get beat up, and then you can't handle it, and you want to do something to them, and then you're gonna go do time. It's sad. It's sad on both sides. You got the kid who did a stupid, just going to the other side of the school. And like I said, I've done this as far as I haven't, but I've seen other guys come over, and you're like, what are you doing? They're sitting in our bleachers, and we call it our bleachers because it's our side, hollering at some females, and we like, what you doing over here? And they like, what's up? What's happening? And getting down, Now, when that happens, everybody panics, and then you don't know if these guys are running to go get a gun, and sometimes they did. I've seen run and go get a gun, and I'm trying to, because I don't have a gun. I didn't want to have to do that, take somebody's life over a fight. I used to like to just fight. These dudes now, they just take lives, and they don't care about taking a life and going to plead out. Take a life and go plead out, man. He like to do all self-defense, man. The other side, it don't matter. You're looking for wreck. You're going to find wreck, man. That's what you don't understand. You go around, you look for shit, you're going to find it because you're on that vibration. I see it all the time. Once you get out of that, basically trouble eludes you. You get out of that mindset of looking for shit, starting shit, and like I said, in this situation in high school, parents, you got to talk to your kids, your young men. Holler at them, man. Help these kids out. They're lost. They're lost. You're 17, 18. I didn't know shit until I was in my late 20s. These kids need fathers, man. They need some righteous discipline, some righteous conversation. Not like, oh man, no. Get beat up a few times. You need to learn that that's part of growing up, getting beat up. You're not going to win every time, man. You're not going to go in there and dominate every match. You when you first start fighting, you get beat up. Nobody goes in there knocking people out. You might knock a few, but then you're going to get beat up by the coach. BigHerc916, leave a comment, share the channel, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think, man. And this whole situation, beyond the racial undertones, because when it happens against the same race, nobody says shit. But this right here is disgusting, and it could have been prevented. And like I said, the communication, knowing your child is the most important thing. A lot of these people don't even know their kids. My baby. Look, I've heard multiple people, oh, my baby. I knew your baby. He was a knucklehead. He was a terror. So I'm not saying that this kid was, but I'm just saying don't run that my baby, because you don't know what he's doing when he's not in your presence. BigHerc916, and I would like to introduce you to Little Herc's Big Lessons. My wife and I decided to come out with a children's book series that encourages young children to be strong, to make good choices, and also teach valuable lessons. Lesson 2, speak with strength. At school, Little Herc's classmate Maria looked upset. The bigger kids were teasing her about her artwork. Hey, Little Herc said, stepping forward, Maria's art is awesome. Let's show some respect. The bigger kids shuffled their feet and walked away. Maria smiled at Little Herc. Thanks, Herc. You're always brave enough to stand up for what's right. Little Herc felt proud. Speaking up is what strong people do. You can pick up the book, link in the description, share it with you. Officially, I only got one real spanking my entire life. My mom did the best a 14-year-old could do, raising me with love and instilling values that will last a lifetime. I was a straight A student and lived to make her happy. So how did I go astray? A horrible stepdad that stole my self-worth and invoked fear turned me into a person that I struggled to overcome. From skateboarding to selling drugs, gang banging in juvenile hall, I got caught the same way many young promising men get caught up. I struggled to find my identity, getting mixed up in shootouts, crime, and the adult entertainment industry. This roller coaster continued as I juggled college, hustling, and Hollywood, eventually catching a federal bank robbery case. I found redemption in prison while serving a 120-month federal sentence and came out a man on a mission. I became a social media influencer with over 500 million views on YouTube and a life coach mentoring people all over the world. This is my journey against all odds.